Welcome back, guys. My name is Julius, and today we are watching how Polymarket robs 99.96% of their customers by more perfect union. Polymarkets is, as far as I know, a platform where you can bet on if Trump says the word gigantic in his next speech and stuff like that. You can bet money on that and either win or lose. So it's kind of a financial trading platform, and I was just interested in watching the video, so let's get right into it, and I'm curious on what I have to say. Here we go.
Prediction markets.
Prediction markets
have exploded.
It's so entertaining.
Platforms like Polymarket,
Polymarket.
If you had me saying potato on Polymarket, you just made a ton of money.
So I have no experience with Polymarket. I would never bet money on stuff like that, okay? I'm a serious futures trader and I want to make money in financial markets, but not with betting on fun stuff like somebody saying potato in a serious speech.
A few weeks ago, Polymarket reached out to More Perfect Union, wanting to collaborate. Specifically, they wanted us to integrate their odds into our reporting, to give you new insights into the issues that we cover. So naturally, before diving into a partnership, we had to do our due diligence and look a little closer at their business model and the big claims that Polymarket's CEO likes to make.
The thing that drives me is that there are billions of people who could find value in this. A diverse group of market participants is more accurate than any given expert. It's the most accurate thing we have as mankind right now, until someone else creates some sort of super crystal ball.
Kalshi, their biggest competitor, makes similar
Okay, I'm gonna speed it up a little bit. I think we can learn something interesting about that.
grand claims.
It actually enhances democracy in a way, increases voter engagement.
It's actually the best mechanism to get more truth about who's actually going to win.
You might see ads from
It
them
increases democracy. Okay, that is a wild take.
about how you'll make rent trading on their platform, or how you
And he's also talking about trading on their platform. Okay, so this is some kind of obscure, shady trading.
can quit your part-time job. Looking at how these companies
Quit your part-time job because of Polymarkets? Okay, I'm not sure if I know enough about Polymarkets, so maybe I can learn something how to make money on there.
pitch themselves closely is really important. Because the thing is, prediction markets don't just exist in a void. They're deeply related to the larger structural problems in our economy right now. At a time when every day has a new political or economic crisis, from multiple foreign conflicts, domestic unrest, sweeping layoffs supposedly due to AI, massive budget cuts to social welfare programs, and the crippling of the American retirement, Polymarket and Kalshi are seemingly offering working class people a solution. You can regain control of the chaos, get an inside edge on our rigged economy, and stand to make tons of money. But is that true?
No, that's not true. You can't gain control by betting on a random outcome you cannot control.
We dug into their marketing tactics, talked to experts, and went to their grocery store to ask, will prediction markets give working people more power?
The long-term vision is to financialize everything and create a tradable asset out of any difference in opinion.
Or by financializing everything, are they recreating the worst aspects of the system they claim to be fighting? To get a better idea of what Polymarket is all about, we went to a recent project of theirs that we could get behind. A totally free grocery store in New York City.
Do you know about prediction markets?
No.
I'm familiar with it, but I wouldn't say I know it fully.
Okay, they are advertising their, I'm gonna use the word trading platform now for this video, with, for example, a free supermarket, okay? And now they wanted to collaborate with More Perfect Union. So they definitely want to advertise more and more and get a wider user base. Okay.
In depth.
I've heard some tell about them. They hedge against whether you win or lose. Yeah, I don't actually like that.
They're doing good.
They're doing good. Like everything's expensive.
Yeah.
It's good to have something like this.
So what I immediately asking myself is it comparable to those shady CFD brokers in trading? Okay. Against whom are you really betting? Are you betting against Polymarket? So if you are wrong in your random bet, does Polymarket keep your money? So basically, are they earning money from your losses? Because then, of course, their goal would be to have as many users as possible who lose money on Polymarket.
So my question is, why is Polymarket trying to impress working class people with these marketing stunts? We'll get back to that later. But to get some basic definitions down, we reached out to an expert. Dustin Gauker is a seasoned journalist, an expert on the gambling industry, and writes a newsletter specifically on prediction markets. So we sat down to talk.
Prediction market is where you trade on outcomes of events in the real world, yes or no, simple as that.
where you can bet on who's going to win election. Is it Kamala Harris or is it Donald Trump? Who's going to win tonight's basketball game, the Lakers or the Knicks? It is that times 1,000, anything that can happen. Will there be more than 12 inches of snow in New York tomorrow?
Okay, so this is a gambling platform that combines everything there is, okay? Like sport betting, financial trading bets, political bets, everything combined into one platform. Of course, that attracts so many users, and especially the gambling addicts.
Kalshi, for instance, all contracts are $1. If something is 50-50, you're buying a contract for 50 cents. Somebody is buying the other side of your contract for 50 cents. At the end, one of you gets $1.
Yeah, this is what I was talking about. Okay, are you really betting against another user and one of you keeps $1, or are you betting against Polymarket?
The idea here is that the current market price is the probability the event will happen.
In the final month of the campaign, most pollsters were saying the race was too close to call, but that was conventional wisdom. Polymarket relied on the wisdom of crowds and correctly predicted the outcome.
In theory, the financial incentives here force people to be honest. If you're wrong, you lose money, so you better be right. This is supposed to be the ultimate filter, signal from noise, the truth machine. With enough people taking part in these bets, with enough liquidity, you get more accuracy. There's no house in this transaction, as prediction market companies are really fond of reminding us. They don't care if you win or lose, unlike sports books. They're just facilitating the transaction. It's matching. Sounds almost friendly, but there's a catch to all this. For these markets to be truth machines, to get the most accurate predictions, they actually kind of need insider trading. Take a look at this market, for example. What will happen before the video game Grand Theft Auto 6 is released? A lot of people know the answer to these questions. People who work on Drake or Rihanna's teams, or who work for their record labels.
Right,
maybe you work at OpenAI and you know the release date for GPT.
Okay, I get it. So there are a few people in the world who for sure know what the outcome will be. For example, if you're a politician, you're gonna hold a speech, or you're a celebrity, you're gonna hold a speech, you know for sure what you're gonna say. So in theory, you could bet on the right outcome. This is called insider trading, okay? This is really dangerous.
6, you should probably place a big bet and get some money for that knowledge. The markets are meant to price the probability of the event, so they incentivize people who have high conviction, people who have insider information, to come collect their bounty by placing big bets on sure things. Placing these bets pushes the market probability in the right direction, making the prediction market more accurate because you know the answer. But it also means, in a lot of cases, these markets are inherently unfair.
There's been advocates, including Polymarket CEO, that insider information gets us to the truth or gets us to more accurate probabilities. And honestly, not wrong. If that's the goal of a prediction market, you actually want insiders trading into it.
This is Dr. Robin Hanson, seen by many as the godfather of modern prediction markets, held up by the Polymarket CEO as the expert.
In a prediction market, there aren't investors. It's a betting market. We create the prediction market in order to learn things about the company. If the main purpose is to get more accurate prices, then basically we want as many insiders as we could. Insiders is great, please. Insider trading, it's just not really an issue for prediction markets.
Now, prediction markets would respond to this criticism in a few ways. Kalshi says they're rolling out new tools to find insiders. They require ID verification to trade now. Polymarket recently rolled out their own new insider trading rules months later. But the simple fact is they can't possibly police all the traffic that they're getting.
The Oscars, Rotten Tomatoes scores for movies, how many streams there will be in Spotify. Like, surveillance will catch a large bet that's abnormal, right? But the whole universe of people who has this information, across all of these markets is in the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands. Yes, they know who you are, but can they definitively say this is insider trading? Or can somebody who works at Spotify just tell a friend, hey, look, I know who's going to have the most streams today?
Okay, look, I thought this was like just for fun. Like maybe I know that, for example, in sports betting, there are those professionals who really are able to make money by betting on sport event outcomes. And I thought, okay, maybe this is something similar, okay, like mostly just for fun. And maybe there are some people who try really hard to make money on that, but I did not know this is kind of like that serious, that really such a big user base is trying to make money as a full-time job on Polymarkets.
How are you going to catch that?
And there's another problem here. What even is an insider in the case of a global event? Senator Chris Murphy has had his eyes on prediction market insider trading, so we sat down to talk about it.
So when you go on Polymarket or Kalshi, you assume there's some system in place that is assuring that the bet you are making is not rigged. But all of the bets on government action are rigged because somebody in government knows the outcome. Many of the other bets
always make a comparison to trading the futures market. In the last few weeks, where there were so many news that influenced the oil markets, for example, there was so much insider trading, so much insider information, $500 million short trades before the news came out that pushed the oil markets lower. So I can only imagine that the insider trading on Polymarkets is a very, very big problem, as you can not only bet on economic data, but like on everything.
Are rigged as well, because there's a handful of very powerful people who know the answer to that question and are pushing the markets in one direction.
His stance was that these rigged markets, ones where thousands of people know the outcomes, shouldn't be traded at all. And honestly, it's pretty hard to disagree with that.
If it's a rigged market, if somebody knows the outcome ahead of time, you can't offer a bet on it. That seems pretty simple.
Even defining an insider in this context seems impossible. I mean, what about this guy who sat outside the Super Bowl rehearsals with a listening device so he could time how long the national anthem would be before betting on prediction markets? Is he an insider? I mean, I know he's literally outside of the stadium, but in this case, he had information that the public didn't have. And we can't even solve insider trading in traditional financial markets where people have been trading for decades. Oil traders made millions just hours ahead of an Iran.
This is what I was talking about like a minute ago.
Announcement from President Trump in traditional financial markets. Why should we believe that a couple of tech bro startups have solved the problem that no one else could?
You know, let's take, for instance, a bet on what I'm going to say in this interview. We're taping it. There's a whole bunch of people in the room right now. They all know what I said. They're going to go out and tell a whole bunch of other people what I said. There's going to be, you know, by the end of today, 100 potential people who can bet on that market knowing they're going to make money. Restricting me and me alone from making that bet is pointless. You should be restricted from making that bet. Everybody in this room should be restricted from making that bet. But that exercise of deciding who has inside information and who doesn't, that's like, it's fruitless. You're never going to be able to track down everybody that heard what I said in this interview.
Okay, so setting aside the insider trading mess, here's the real kicker. Prediction markets aren't even as accurate as they advertise.
The most interesting example recently is the February jobs report. They forecasted 60,000 jobs would be added in February. Guess what? Jobs report was down. They weren't even close. They were like a delta of 150,000 jobs.
Why are people trading that on Polymarket instead of like the real financial markets? Those non-farm payroll results are mostly traded in the future markets, in NASDAQ, in S&P 500, in the Dow Jones, okay? Because in theory, okay, you're gonna lose everything or win everything on Polymarkets, okay? But in the financial markets, if you bet on the wrong side, there's still a chance to recover from that. Maybe the market is going to turn into the other direction the next couple of hours again.
Take a look at this recent study out of Vanderbilt University that looked at prediction markets in the 2024 election. While 93% of predicted markets correctly predicted outcomes better than chance, accuracy fell to 78% on Kalshi and 67% on Polymarket. So the Polymarket CEO was on 60 Minutes taking a victory lap, and the markets on his platform were barely better than a coin flip. So these markets aren't all that accurate, and the core of the business model depends on insiders to help finding the truth. Who is winning here, and more importantly, who's losing?
If history has taught us anything, it's not to root against the underdog.
Kalshi!
Where your voice becomes a position.
These are deeply uncertain economic times, so it's tempting to turn to platforms like prediction markets as a way to get ahead. For a lot of young people, it can feel like prediction markets are offering a means of success when the traditional paths have been denied to them. You can see that idea constantly in how these companies describe their markets. These are investments, they're event contracts, used for hedging risk.
Event contracts. Hedging against market risks. Okay, this is just a gambling platform. This is just like online gambling.
It's the democratization of finance. You can see it in how they talk about information. They're the future of news. They're covering all the breaking information. They're monitoring the situation for you. And you can see it in how they advertise themselves.
It's a great thing. It's like a way to monetize your knowledge. Same way like an Uber driver monetizes their free time by driving. If you have extra knowledge and read news, you can monetize it and speculate, and it's okay.
I think this is the most pernicious part of prediction markets. The slick ads, the financial phrases, the PR stunts, it's all meant to take advantage of your economic anxieties. But hey, you know what? Some people will get paid for this. How many people exactly? Well, one analysis showed that 0.04% of traders were capturing nearly 70% of the profits. Doesn't exactly sound like the democratization of finance as we know it. For the other 99.96%,
it's the same thing every day. I end up winning 4 or 5 bets, and then once I build my value, I make one bet that changes it all back to the...
What? I don't need to listen to stuff like this, okay? my God, this is always the same in gambling. You can win in roulette 5 times in a row by betting on black and then comes red one time and you lose everything. What the heck? It doesn't even make sense, okay? That's like the most normal thing ever in gambling.
I have lost like $25,000 on sports betting. How do I fix this?
Long story short, I had an unexpected financial emergency and I'm really short rent money and really desperate. Does anyone have a low money, under $20 high payoff bet with a strong chance bet?
Okay, this is like really concerning. This is like really concerning. People are in financial distress, maybe have debt and try to use prediction markets to pay off their debt. Okay, this is like this is like logging into an online casino and using blackjack, roulette or any other kind of gambling stuff to pay off your bills. Guys, everybody knows that this won't work. Same goes for trading futures or trading CFDs or whatever. If you have financial problems, never try to make money in trading just to pay off your bills. It won't work. You're gonna lose for sure.
Entail? Thanks.
I started pretty irresponsibly, and so here I am at minus 14K. But I'm confident if I stay disciplined, I'll make it out.
Disciplined on Polymarkets. Disciplined on prediction markets. How should that even be possible? Okay, maybe I do not know enough. I know you can bet on certain economic outcomes as well, but like, guys, I don't want to be rude or anything, but except like maybe they have a gambling problem and need professional therapy and professional help. Okay, that is something different, but to be so, I don't want to be rude, but to be so stupid and to want to pay your bills by gambling on a prediction market site, whether it will be sunny tomorrow. Guys, what the heck? An elementary school student knows that this will not work.
This is shockingly common.
A lot of the work is about how to, if people come trade a specific event, how to get them to trade on other events and how do we cross-sell them and how do they basically come back and how do we make sure that they stay engaged.
These people are donating liquidity, adding money to the markets for insiders and professionals to collect their bounty. Because no matter how much they use the term investment, it turns out
They're mostly being used to gamble. It is so people can gamble on things, whether it's sports, and again, mostly it's sports, at least in the US.
How much of it is sports?
85 to 90% right now. Kalshi is the leader in the US. At Polymarket, it's different.
So it's what I told you a couple of minutes ago. It's just another platform for sport betting. You probably can't lose.
More like 40% is sports and 60% is the everything else. But it's just people gambling.
Take a look at the front page of Kalshi on any given day. It's basically all you'll see, sports. And when it's not sports...
Okay, we're gonna do that. Not Kalshi, but let me go to Polymarkets. Okay, now I switched to English. Strait of Hormuz traffic returns to normal by end of April. Yes or no? How should I know? I'm not into it. Look at this. Permanent peace deal. Bitcoin 5-minute up or down. Wow. Peru presidential election winner. This is crazy. I can immediately imagine by the design of this that people scroll to this and think, okay, I know something about the Peru presidential election. The chances are really, really high that, I know, the first person here is gonna win. I'm gonna bet something. And maybe they win. And then they get into it and search for another thing here. Here, Fed Chair, Jerome Powell. It's like always the same. Here, about tweets and stuff. It's like, guys, come on. This can lead to serious gambling problems. This is alarming. Okay, another thing. Do I think that this should be forbidden? No, I don't think so. I'm like, in general, somebody who thinks everyone should make their own decision about what they are gonna do. Like, imagine you want to spend 20 bucks with some friends, okay? Instead of buying some alcohol, you decide to make a funny bet here on Polymarkets. I think it's like kind of the same thing. Stupidly spending some money just for the sakes of having some fun. But the problem occurs when people really think they can make a financial living out of this.
The other 10% seems to also be gambling. Some people are betting on whether or not the price of Bitcoin will go up or down.
Yeah, this is what I saw here.
Every 15 minutes. You can bet on whether or not Clavicular will be the next Ayatollah of Iran. They might call them event contracts, but if you're betting on the Super Bowl coin toss, you aren't investing, you're gambling. But don't just take it from me. Look at this early ad Kalshi used to run. Sports betting is legal in all 50 states. It's not, by the way. Kalshi is now offering a $1 billion prize if you predict a perfect March Madness bracket. And the way that CEO Tariq Mansour promoted it is one of the most blatant examples of their direct appeal to working people. 90 minutes left to attempt generational wealth. That's the CEO of an online casino saying you owe it to your grandchildren to
It's basically you owe it to your grandchildren to gamble on our online casino site. Well,
place bets.
I don't know if I owe it to them.
At a time when Americans are making early withdrawals from their retirement accounts at record rates. Again, prediction markets are occupying this very strange position in the economy, where the message seems to be you will own nothing, save nothing, and gamble everything. So, given that these markets are obviously gambling, why are they so interested in pretending that it's not?
Historically, every time there's truly groundbreaking financial innovation, it has been called gambling.
Well, first of all, they don't want you to know how much you'll probably lose. One report from a Citizens Bank analyst showed that prediction market traders actually lost more than they would have on traditional sports books in the first 3 months. And for this story, I talked to prediction market traders, journalists, experts on gambling and public health, and here's what I heard from all of these people consistently. We are in the middle of a gambling public health crisis, and this crisis is hitting young men particularly badly. We've taken a very addictive behavior and we've put it in the hands of everyone, everywhere, all the time. You don't have to make a trip to your bookie or to the casino. Place a bet on the game, any game. No restrictions. The casino is in your pocket. On prediction markets, the age of participation is 18 instead of 21. So get started even earlier. When you combine the addictiveness of these platforms, the availability, and the uncertain economic times, you get a potent combination. And being part of this wave of gambling crashing over young Americans, profiting from their suffering, it's not a good look. Which is why you'll notice that they're very careful with their language. It's why they've mostly stopped running ads using the word betting. It's why they shut down their short-lived Kalshi U program to partner with college kids.
Okay, I think I can already end the reaction here. Okay, I will immediately leave a like. This was a great video, and I did not know how bad prediction market systems are and how big they are already in our generation, and especially for like the younger audience. This is alarming, and this should never be titled as investing, trading, contracts. I don't want to hear that. This has nothing to do with professional financial markets whatsoever. It's like just another online casino. And maybe to have some fun with your friends on a Friday evening, it has its value, but this should never be seen as a financial income. Of course, I don't have to tell you that. You know that. Write down in the comments below if you already made some bets on Polymarkets or Kalshi or whatever those sites are called. And yeah, if you won or lost, and if you had fun or regretted a lot. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Today was a little bit different from my usual trading content, but those prediction markets want to position themselves like alternatives for financial trading. So I think it was important to take a look at that. Thank you guys for watching. We see us in the next episode. Take care of yourself, guys. Have a nice rest of the week. Bye bye.